I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
All right, dear listener, we're going right back to Clarus. Clarus. Let's go. Hold on. That was a false alarm. Clarus, let's go. Whoa.
I construct no sea, for I will not rest, for I am no king, and I claim no throne. I will stand atop the highest point in hell, and I will raise my voice up, so that the crawling worm and the lofty bird shall know my sermon. I seek eyes that see through worlds. I seek a mouth to voice my cause. I seek a tongue lined with silver, so that my words are clear and just. For my Father has lied.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Okay, so it's a bit of an interlude.
Holy shit.
Again, spooky as hell.
That one was extremely spooky.
And
the way he was screaming, or like whatever that was, holy, holy, holy.
Yes, Perk. Shekinah is also in many of the literatures presented in a feminine aspect.
Don't you
of
think
God.
it's really interesting how they were presenting it? Because obviously they're saying this is Lucifer, and then he says, like that he wants so that my words are clear and just, like he wants justice, and he needs someone who's going to be able to present this. For my father has lied.
Yeah.
Saying God the Father is the liar.
Yeah. Yeah. I seek eyes that see through through worlds. I seek a mouth to voice my cause.
Yeah.
I seek a tongue lined with silver, which is the name of the song. So the name of the record is
album,
Silver Tongue.
Yeah, Silver Tongue.
So that my words are clear and just, for my father has lied.
Gosh.
That's kind of mysterious to me. I'm not sure what he lied about, because God has never said this is a democracy. So what exactly did God lie about? I'm not certain.
Well, if he's presenting himself throughout this whole album as a good guy, and the Bible does not present Satan as a good guy, he could say that's where God lied.
But what is the lie?
That Satan is bad.
Well, according to who?
The Bible? What do you mean?
Well, is Satan appealing to some other standard of goodness? What is he judging God's goodness by?
His own. I think he's got his own standard. Because he's defining what is clear and just.
Because God didn't operate by his standards, that means God's a liar? Does that make sense to you?
Well, if you think, if he thinks that he's God.
On what basis? Well, he doesn't think he's God, though. He knows that he calls
Yeah,
God
'cause
his
he calls
father.
the Father, yeah.
So he doesn't think he's God. He just thinks that God shouldn't have the power to have as much power as he has.
Yeah. Right.
But that's not. What's the actual lie?
I don't know. Mark, do you have any idea what the actual lie is?
What's the actual lie?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, if God says, hey, this is morality, that makes sense to me because he's an eternal being and he was remaining consistent with himself. But what does a created temporal being have to tell God what right or wrong is? Mm-hmm. How does he even think he has enough information to make that kind of a determination?
Right.
Like, that's the thing that's like, philosophically, I could never really go there.
Right. And over here, he says, I construct no seat, for I will not rest, for I am no king, and I claim no throne.
Right, just real humble guy.
Yeah. Then why, pray tell, did he tell Jesus to bow down and worship him?
Well, isn't Lucifer second only in terms of beauty and awesomeness? Well, if you had LeBron James, an ant, and a piece of paper in a room, I guess you could say that the ant was the second best basketball player in the room. Right?
Babe? Yes. Yeah.
Like, sometimes second place is inconsequential to third or even 50th place if the first place person is that much ahead of you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, even if Satan was the most beautiful created being in the universe, mm-hmm. there's an eternal gap between him and the Almighty.
Right.
And I think that's one of the major mistakes that gets made in philosophical discussion and even personal discussion. When we talk about God, people have this assumption that them and God are operating at the same level. Mm-hmm. Like, there's an ontological difference between you and God that is literally infinite.
Right.
And the idea that us as created finite beings who can be undone by microscopic viruses, we are so weak that a virus can keep the most powerful country on the planet in their homes and have them looking silly fighting over toilet paper. That's what human beings are.
Yep.
And we have the audacity to believe that we can sit in judgment of the Almighty. It boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, how incarnate as the other person, what would you do? What I would do, I wouldn't even do that. I would just say, I mean, if God exists, that's fine. I don't want to live by his rules. So I'm just going to do what I want to do. And inshallah, there's no hell. But if there is hell, then I'm fucked.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
That's exactly what you would do.
I wouldn't take this, like, moralistic, like I know what I would do if I was a Muslim. I know what I would do if I was an atheist. Like, I wouldn't even have this self-righteous weird thing about judging God and like, because it's very hard for me to take that seriously. Like, you laughed when I said the ant thing with LeBron.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah, I thought it was a very good analogy. It was a funny one.
Yeah.
And then I pictured an ant with a basketball, and it didn't go well.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, is the basketball would crush him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you cannot even begin to box with the Almighty, because the minute you put on the gloves would kill you.
It's just...
Like, holy moly. I believe the lie is the eternal love and such a lie because of the wrath. That's my best guess. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Although God has not... I'm not certain that there is a contradiction between God's love and God's wrath. As a matter of fact, I think a good argument could be made that God's wrath is motivated by God's love.
Yeah.
If I hear that some 5-year-old girl got shot in the head because some gangbangers in Chicago have terrible trigger discipline, I'm gonna be wrathful, and I want the wrath of God to fall on those boys who did that to that girl. Mm-hmm. But that's because I love children, and that's because I love my own daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I remember what my daughter was when she was 5, and I imagine myself just sitting with my daughter and then having her head explode in front of me.
Oh my God!
Because some idiot doesn't know how to sight his weapon properly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have wrath, but the wrath is born out of a place of love. Mm-hmm. So God is in this situation where he's constantly measuring his patience against his sense of justice. And so there are times with all of us where all of us are on a clock, mm-hmm. because all of us deserve justice. And what happens with a lot of people is, when it comes to the wrath of God, there's this inconsistent shell game that I don't believe that they even know what they're doing. So, for example, they'll take a passage in the Old Testament where God slaughters a bunch of people. They'll go, look at this is terrible. Mm-hmm. But simultaneously, they'll say, God allowed Hitler to live, and look what he did to all those Jews. Mm-hmm. Not realizing, again, Hitler did not kill 6 million people.
Right.
It was a regular German citizen who, by the way, would have told you that they are good people, mm-hmm. that sat passively by and allowed that shit to happen to those people. So, justice would say that the entire ground should open up over Deutschland and swallow all those people alive into Sheol for allowing that shit to happen to those people. But God was patient with those German people. They paid a heavy price by the end of the World War II, for sure. But God didn't wipe out the entire nation of Germany, and I'm glad. He gave them an opportunity to redeem themselves. I'm glad for that. Mm-hmm. But there is a balance, because the longer God allows somebody to be redeemed, that means the more evil they're going to do in the world. And so there's an algorithm that God has to when he punches somebody's clock and when he doesn't. You know? Yep. Vaughn got shot, 4 times. He died. Other kid gets shot 35 times and lives. When God says it's time for you and it's time for you to clock out, he's going to clock you out, period. Nobody can save you. And if it's not time for you to go, then you're not going to die. Nobody can kill you.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is, God's wrath does not in any way, that's not mutually exclusive to God's love. What I would say simply is that I would advise Lucifer and anybody else on his team to be on the right side of the love of God.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'd say. I'd say people need to be on the right side of the love of God. But you can't go and reap, sow destruction and do all types of crazy shit. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about the general you. We can't do all that type of craziness and then expect God to, he's going to get up and act one day. But when he finally gets up and act, we can't sit there and go, oh, that's not loving. No, I'm sorry, bro. Wrath is what happens when love interfaces with injustice. I think all of us are wrathful about what's happening to these kids at the border. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of justified wrath there. I don't care what you're, Christian, non-Christian, Republican, Democrat. I think anybody that sees those people lined up in those cages in that fashion are going to be angry. Mm-hmm. And that's just because you're just a general lover of humanity. Most people, especially people in our context, are humanitarians. So if you love human beings, you're going to hate that shit. You're going to get angry. But what I will say is the voice is just very spooky, man. Mm-hmm. Because it was extremely human. But there was something kind of like ethereal and off about it.
Yeah. I'm sending you something that Amy Lee said you should listen. You should read, and also Mark wanted it read because he was curious as well. So
Okay.
so it's going to be in the Vin and Sori one.
It's in the Vin and Sori. Okay, so we're reading something, ladies and gents. This is what happens when you have interactive reactions. Best in the business, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
with the
so
is it up there already?
It's coming right here. It's going to be Here It Is. Look in the Vin and Sori.
So talk to the people. Give the people.
Yeah, there was something I was going to say about what you were just talking about. Ugh. But then I got a little distracted in getting this thing up here. What were you just talking about?
Giving the people what they want.
No. Before that, before I said, hey, we got something to read.
Album review. Where is it?
Can you just refresh and
Can you talk to the people?
Satan is a trickster. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Well,
so I'm downloading this now. And then who wrote this?
It was at the bottom of the lyrics on this light bearer thing.
Okay.
So it's right here.
The words of rapture, the Trisagion, the holy thrice, a beacon of black light that flooded the cosmos out from the focal point of the false god. Oh, that's under every song?
Oh, I don't know. It was under this one. She sent the link for it.
Send me that thing.
It's in the email.
That specific webpage? Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's where she sent it to us.
The holy thrice, a beacon of black light that flooded the cosmos out of the focal point of the false god. Okay, so he's talking about the Trinity here, right? The Trisagion, the holy thrice. The Trisagion. I'm assuming that's the 3 times holy, right? Tri, and then Hagios would be holy, right? So the Trisagion. Okay. A beacon of black light that flooded the cosmos out from the focal point of the false god. Within his mountainous construction, he heard his broadcast interrupted, a voice far louder and far more clearer than that of the progenitor. This was the voice of Lucifer, standing atop of the Tower of Dis, his lungs filled with the fervor of his kin, his heart filled with distress, the fear of losing all. His teeth gritted, every muscle strained, the words tore from within him, piercing the roof of hell. His temper dispensed among the many layers of existence, his focus upon those minds capable of comprehending his petition. Dum, dum, dum!
All right. Well, what do you give it?
This one is going to get a solid 9 again.
That's exactly what I had too.
We have did you get the same score? 9?
Yes. I should have done this in the corner so people would have known, but you would have seen it. That's so weird.
Yeah, we gotta do some like reveal thingamajiggy. That'll be better, I think.
Where we turn our cards?
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We have to get those little whiteboards.
Get like flashcards or something.
No,
get
the whiteboards.
whiteboards.
We'll write it on the whiteboard and then we'll hold it up.
See how smart I am?
That's a great idea.
See how smart I am?
Yes, excellente.
Look at the smartness, y'all. Look at the smartness.
I shall. Whoop.
Michael wiped out entire armies single-handedly. I agree. Michael was on his gangster shit. That guy wasn't playing with y'all.
All right, ready?
Michael wasn't playing with y'all. Okay, guys, the next one, as you can see here, if you look down onto the left, and this little thing right here, a little squiggly line, the next one is called Aggressor and Usurper. There you are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.